Hey, Friendos, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw Matt Chat. We've got a whole wealth of awesome topics to debate today, thanks to our $20 and up a month patrons at patreon.com/Steven Larson. You know, you don't have to do $20 a month of Patreon to make a difference here at Going In Raw. $1 a month gets you this show ad-free, gets you access to the Going In Raw Discord, and it gets you one bonus episode every single week. It's a fantastic deal. Go to patreon.com/Steven Larson.
Yeah.
And you can check out, I almost made it through. I was almost smooth. You can check out all those wonderful reward tiers there at the Patreon. But we've got a lot of patrons to get to today. Of course, this is a show where we solicit their video questions and then we provide thoroughly researched and studied answers. We
sometimes answer them.
We wax over these for days and weeks and months, or just a couple minutes, and then we give you your answers.
Yeah.
First up, we've got Joshua the Dynamic Knight Martinez.
Yes.
Let's see what Joshua has to say.
Hey, Friendos. So, I was wondering, pretty simple question this week. Do you guys think John Cena is really as big of a crossover superstar as we think he is? I think he's pretty big, but I think a lot of people really know him as the John Cena meme. I don't know. I don't think he'll ever reach the level of The Rock. And I'm pretty sure Dave Bautista is still high above John Cena. But what do you think Cena's ceiling is as far as a crossover superstar? I'll be interested to know what you guys think. Thanks, Friendos.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you. You got to go first, Steve. John Cena, is he really a crossover
Yes,
star?
of course. You know I know because my kids know who he is. That's kind of all it really takes. My dad probably knows who he is.
Your kids
as well.
know who Nikki Bella is.
Yes, for sure.
Would you consider her a crossover
Yes,
star?
I would.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. She's a pop culture personality at this point, as is John Cena. For sure, John Cena is absolutely. Everybody knows who he is. He like co-hosts the Today Show. Absolutely, he's a crossover show. He has gone. Look, there are people out there who are simply memes, no greater than their memes, perhaps. John Cena is not one of them. Totally, he's crossover star. Absolutely. Is he as crossover as The Rock? No.
Very few people are, though.
He's the most crossover person there is.
Seems that way.
He's like legitimately.
He does everything.
He does.
He's got that new show, Titans,
isn't it?
No, something else.
Titan something.
Titan Games.
Titan Games. There you go.
I don't think The Rock ever sleeps. He's always working.
Yeah.
Anyways,
awesome.
is
Great.
John Cena a crossover star? Yes. Is he as huge as a crossover star as the WWE would like us to think? I don't know if that's the case.
Oh, that's an interesting take.
Yeah, he co-hosts the Today Show, which appeals to like housewives and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
When you have women and children, it's a pretty big demographic.
Oh, it is, and that's kind of like the one he's more or less, has on lock. He's got that between hosting the Today Show. I'm sure he's been on Kelly Ripa. He's all over.
Has he been? Has he now?
On the show, yeah. I guess.
That's what okay. That's what
he does all the Nickelodeon stuff.
Yeah, dude.
So he's got all that covered. However,
it's a lot of crossing over.
He has been getting more movie work. He has yet to really solidify himself as a Hollywood star. I think.
I thought Blockers was going to be his breakout.
Me too.
I really
especially
did.
After Trainwreck, because he was really good in that.
I know. This was supposed to be like Steve Carell had an amazing Anchorman.
Yeah.
And then he did 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be Cena's 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Mm-hmm.
I really did.
And it wasn't.
And maybe there will be. Maybe there won't be. This is not for lack of trying.
No.
I think Hollywood really wants him to be that.
Yes.
It's just, it hasn't happened yet.
Well, I think he wants to be that. I feel like WWE really wants him to be that.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think Hollywood would like to make, oh, that's cool, a star out of him. Yeah. Thank you.
A future star.
Yes, a future star out of him. However, I don't think he's reached that level yet. And I'm not even saying this in comparison to The Rock, because I mentioned earlier, very few people on this planet have the crossover appeal of Dwayne Johnson.
Okay, let me ask you something.
What?
Let's compare Cena to other Hollywood personalities. Cena's a bigger name than Miles Teller, right?
Well, I mean, more people know who he is, yeah.
Miles Teller, like, he's a dude that Hollywood, when I say Hollywood, I mean like you know, all the publicists out there. There's like a machine in Hollywood.
Oh, absolutely.
That tries, you know, they
tries to manufacture stars. Yes.
No, you're right.
Yes.
Like, okay, for example, Josh Hartnett 10 years ago, right? He's got a good career.
Yeah.
He's got a good, like, I'm not going to say a Dolph Ziggler level career in terms of the metaphors or analogies,
the analogy,
rather.
yes.
But they tried to do that with Josh Hartnett. I think they were going to try to do that with the dude who's playing Han Solo, and no, not going to happen.
But I feel like John Cena occupies a middle ground where it's not that. He's gone past
John Cena might be the Dolph Ziggler of Hollywood.
Might be. He might end up occupying that space. Well, he'll get consistent work.
Yeah, sure.
But he's never going to be the Rock level, huge, you know, top grossing actor in the entire world.
Hey, it only takes one.
I know, and that's the thing. And maybe this Bumblebee movie is going to be that one that catapults.
The Jackie Chan one.
Yeah, that catapults John Cena into Hollywood superstardom. But, you know, blockers, we thought that might be the one. Hasn't happened. Oh, I got another one of these. So is he a crossover star? Yeah. Is he the crossover star I think WWE wants us to think he is? I'm not so sure.
Not this guy.
Now that's a crossover
Not The
star.
Rock. Not this guy.
He's not to that. He's not to the level where I think WWE wants you to think he is. Because for WWE to say, "Oh, look at John Cena, this huge mega star crossing over all over, you know, to all over various platforms, TV, film, internet, yada yada yada," it's good for them.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's at that level yet.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Let me ask you this.
What?
He's a bigger crossover star. Sorry. He's already had a better movie career than Hogan, hasn't he? Ooh.
In terms of quality of the films, yeah. However,
as opposed to what?
Hogan's movies were Hogan vehicles. Cena hasn't really had that yet. Even Blockers was an ensemble cast.
Yeah, okay.
From the very beginning of Hogan, you know, apart from Rocky 3.
They haven't done, well, besides like the Marine. They haven't done like they haven't done a Cena vehicle.
Yeah, in this current iteration of Hollywood Cena. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say, yes. Whereas Hogan, post Rocky 3, when he actually, you know, because he wasn't the huge star he was in 85, 86, 87 when we did Rocky 3. That was 83, right? Rocky 3.
Yeah.
So once he was established as top guy in WWE and started doing movies, every movie he did from there on out was a Hogan vehicle.
Yeah, but none of them did all that great.
No, they weren't good movies at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, barring the Marine movie, which
I'm not even saying they weren't good. They were bad movies, but they didn't even perform.
No, not really.
So, like, if you have a vehicle for yourself, but it doesn't go anywhere, is that better than not having had a vehicle at all?
Well, that I guess in my mind, it says that producers, someone in Hollywood, thinks that you can produce box office receipts. Therefore, they will put you front and center in a film.
You know, Vince produced that wrestling movie.
No Holds Barred.
Yeah, No Holds Barred. Yeah. And then the only other one was Suburban
Commando. There's Mr. Nanny too, right?
I thought those were the same way. I was about to say Suburban.
No,
those were different. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Movies. Okay. Those, so 2 other movies. He had 3 vehicles, and none of them went anywhere.
Not at all.
See, I feel like Cena could have vehicles made for him, but they probably, you know, he just need the right package.
Well, you know, it took The Rock a little bit to get his starring vehicles.
It took him a long time. That's one thing I don't think enough people really realize. Like, they think that he went from
Scorpion King
to
San Andreas.
Yeah, exactly.
With nothing in between. But he was even his early starring vehicles, I guess, did relatively well enough, but they weren't huge. Huge.
There was that. Yeah, you're right. There was that period where they
like
would just put
him
in. Yeah, they would put him in anything. Yeah.
What was that one that's actually pretty good?
There was that one where he gave the rock bottom to somebody through a table. That might have been Walking Tall, though. That might have been Walking Tall.
But then I don't think it was really until he got into the Fast and Furious movies.
You're right. Yeah.
That he really took things to another level.
Yeah. Then it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So
what was the other movie? Because there was like several movies that kind of.
He got an earlier start than Cena, though.
Yeah.
In terms of his life.
Yeah. In terms of getting into Hollywood.
Ooh, I got a Hall of Fame card.
Ooh. Ric Flair.
More like 10,000.
All right, next. From Delete.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, Eddie. The Freak of Destruction.
The Freak of Destruction.
Let's see what Delete has to say.
What's up, Stephen Larson? It's your boy, Delete Freak of Destruction. My Matt Chat question this week is going to be, who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame go in first? I want you guys to debate between Owen Hart and China. I think they both deserve to be in, but I want to see you guys debate and decide on who you think should go in first. Thank you. Too sweet. Hearty handshake.
Thank you, Delete.
Thank you, Delete.
Oh, I got to go first. It's China. China. Very few wrestlers during the Attitude Era had the impact that China had in terms of breaking down barriers. She won the Intercontinental title. A very good case could have been made for her to win the WWE title. She was in line to compete for that.
She's #1 contender.
Yes. The pop she got when she came out for that corporate Rumble and then won it, one of the loudest pops I've ever heard.
True.
China was incredibly over, and granted, her post-wrestling career, not the best. And I know what you're going to bring up in your case against China.
Pornography.
But you just search China, and I see nary a still of adult cinema there.
That's what I was looking at. If you search China WWE, at this point, there's not
any adult material.
There's no adult material. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't have they probably default to sort of
like a safe search thing?
A safe search type thing. Like it's not immediately going to pop up.
Yeah.
Because there's some images, like an image of her as She-Hulk from that freaking Marvel.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Parody or porn parody.
But, if you look at her career in ring in WWE,
yeah,
it was pretty damn amazing. And the fact that she is not in the Hall of Fame is lame. She needs to be in. She absolutely needs to be in. The only thing keeping Owen out right now is his wife.
Yeah.
If she were to say, Owen, yes, WB, put my husband in, he would be in.
I'll be completely honest with you. I can't make a case for Owen over China. There isn't a case to be made. Look, I know that during the last couple of years of the Friendo Awards, Sting, there you go.
Oh, that one's for you.
Oh, man. Michael Hayes, look at that. Shirtless wonder. During the last couple of years in the Friendo Awards, I've been blocking your... Actually, no, didn't she get in this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got in this year to Friendo Awards, to our Hall of Fame. Rightfully so. Everything you said is true. She's a trailblazer. She's a groundbreaker. Yeah, she did porno, but you know what? It's just sex. It's consensual sex on videotape. People like to watch people do that. And so there was a market for her to do that. She did it. It's not a big deal. And so while I was sort of on the side of understanding what Triple H was talking about when it came to that. Number one, I've always kind of wondered if he actually felt that way or if he was towing a Vince line.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, I understand his point. I don't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah,
I understand his point.
When it was more of a thing when she was alive and she was actively doing it, I think that's probably that's a problem. Well, I say it's a problem because I get as a company you don't really want to be associated with that. But once, I understood his point as a company. When you Google somebody's name, they're going to the Hall of Fame. You Google the name, and then you see a bunch of dinguses.
Yes, I understand the concern there. Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah.
Is it thin? Yeah, I get it though. Nowadays, I kind of feel like it's not. Unfortunately, she didn't live long enough to see her enter the Hall of Fame, which I think she would have liked. And so that is an absolute bummer. She absolutely deserves to go in. That's not to take anything away from Owen. But was Owen? Look, I like Owen. Some people are obsessed with Owen Hart. Some people are absolutely obsessed. Same kind of people who super obsessed with Bret Hart. They're obsessed with Owen Hart. He's the biggest name never to get the title, and et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, great wrestler, absolutely great wrestler, fantastic personality.
Yeah,
really great, and totally deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
totally deserves. But China was special. China was unique. Absolutely unique. So, yeah, it's China.
It's China.
Sure. It should have been years ago.
Oh, yes.
Really should have been. But I see the point.
Yeah, no, I understand the point.
Dinguses.
Next, a new Matt chatter, Andy Nero.
Brother Nero, I knew you'd come.
Good job. Let's see what Andy Nero has to say.
Friendos, Stephen Larson. It's the heel that makes good points here, Andy Nero, with his first Matt Chat question. And it's quite simple, really. WrestleMania in the UK at Wembley, yay or nay? It's been nearly 27 years since SummerSlam 92, and it's about time we got ours. What do you think, guys? Do you think it should come here? Would you be willing to come here? I, for one, will never be able to afford to get across to the US for a WrestleMania show. The tickets are really expensive, as is the flight, as is the accommodation. Plus, It'd be awesome to see things like a Progress show, an Evolve show, a Rev Pro show, an ROH show, all in London on that weekend. I think it would be amazing. I'd like to see if you guys would be there too, because I think a Friendo meet-up with all the guys in the UK and your good selves would be incredible. Anyway, too sweet, high handshake, and a shoulder lean. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Brother Nero.
Thank you, Andy Nero. You got to go first.
Okay.
With WrestleMania at Wembley.
Yes! Yeah, of course I'm going to... Yes, I would go. Yes, they should have it at Wembley. I don't know what Triple H is smoking when he says SummerSlam. Oh, that's the worst. Oh, that's the best. When he says SummerSlam, I find it funny we're not doing another pay-per-view there because in 1992 we ran SummerSlam there. And you might think it's best for business, but it's not best for business because we didn't do good business back then. What are you talking about? This is 2018, man. That was like a trillion years ago. Anyways, yeah, I think it'd be great to have it at Wembley. I think it'd be fantastic. If not Mania, something else like really cool there. So yeah, I would yes, I would totally go. I'm doing a Scotland meetup in next July, and then we'll probably do a London meetup because we're gonna go to London, I think, after my sister's wedding, which is in Scotland, and then I'm going down to London. I'm gonna try to write that damn trip off because I'm gonna do some travel vlogging over there.
There you go.
And I'm gonna get into some shows and then hopefully get some interviews and some intros.
There you go.
So I'll be the Going In Raw on location correspondent in London and Scotland. See an ICW show, a Progress show.
There you go.
NXT UK taping.
Rev Pro.
Buttocks.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it'll be a blast. What about you? You want to go with me?
I mean, it's a debate show, so I gotta debate you.
You don't have to do that.
No,
it's
I do.
It's our show. We can do what we want.
It's a debate show, so I gotta say no.
Why would you do that?
Oh, it's Marie Canella. Sorry, I thought it was Becky Lynch at first. I just saw the orange hair. That's a Matt Chat staple now. I mean, Triple H said the other one was a success, so I'm sure he has good data behind that.
You think?
Granted, that was 26 years ago.
Like you humble.
A lot has changed in 26 years. I don't know, like by what metric was it not a success? I'm guessing
so confused.
Maybe like pay-per-view buys because it's on a different time of day.
So confused.
The network kind of alleviates all that, I would think, for the most part. Yeah. I don't know what metric they're using.
What are you guys talking about?
Unless they're just he's looking at those receipts from that show and basing it on what the receipts they get for today's show, and thinking why is this down by a factor of 3?
Why are we charging only $15 for the feed?
I know. So it's hard for me to muster a reason to say no. I've never been to England. Mm-hmm. It seems like a fun place to go. I'd like to check it out.
That'd be a blast.
So if it were there, I would go.
Yeah.
So I can't really think of a case for no, but I'll just say no for the sake of debate.
Sounds good. That's
the strength of my argument.
Next up, we've got... Oh, everybody has to be quiet because it's... Christian!
Oh, he's at work.
Christian! He's at work. We have to be quiet. Let's see him.
Hey, Steven Larson. It's your boy, the Hall of Famer Christian, here with another Matt Chat question. I'm at work. My boss is right back there, so I don't want to be too loud. My question for you guys is, who is the greatest female performer of all time? That's my question for you guys today. Too sweet and a hearty handshake. Thanks.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, Christian.
Should we answer his question in whispers?
No, it'd be kind of ridiculous.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the deal. I am not well educated in women's wrestling before like 2015.
Well, no, that's not true. We watched plenty of...
Yeah, plenty of Attitude Era.
Yeah.
I will say this. Okay, I will say this. My opinion is this. The greatest wrestler in WWE from the Attitude Era on has been Charlotte. I think she puts everything together. I am a bigger personal fan, to be honest, of Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, if we're just looking at the Four Horsewomen, because that's the sort of a class that came up together. Charlotte puts everything together in pro wrestling. her championship accomplishments, the fact that the company really does view her as franchise piece. You always know, like they view her the same way that they view Roman Reigns for the guys. And I understand why. She puts it all together the way nobody else from the Attitude Era on has. I don't know anything really about like the Japanese women wrestlers, like some of the examples that you're going to list outside of the WWE. Alundra Blaze would probably be like my second choice just because of like her career is obviously pretty legendary. There's an entire decade called the 1950s where women's wrestling would main event on a regular basis that I am completely and totally ill-educated on. So my answer is limited in scope to what I kind of know, which is very limited.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we've heard several wrestling historians mention the name Manami Toyota.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, Dave Meltzer says she's maybe the greatest in-ring competitor ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I feel ashamed that I have not.
I know. I need to educate myself on her work and the work of countless others. However, if we're going from the Attitude Era onward, the time period of wrestling that I'm most familiar with, I'm going to say Lita.
Okay, cool.
Because at the time where she came up to WWE, she was doing stuff that no other woman was doing and put on some fantastic matches. And so she would get my vote. Asuka, phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
she'd probably get my vote for best women's wrestler in WWE right now. I think she's great. She's so smooth. She's so sharp with her. You never see her botch anything.
Yeah, sure.
Anything.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a ton of her work in Japan. I've seen a bit. But it just validates what I've seen of her in NXT, predominantly NXT and also the main roster.
Sure.
That she's fantastic.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic.
Cool. All good questions.
Well, the show's not over.
No, I mean all good answers from that particular question.
Okay,
Sorry.
fine. There you go.
Next up, Flame Spitter.
Flame Spitter. Let's see what Flame Spitter has to
Is he
say.
gonna spit some actual flame this time?
No.
I'm waiting for that one.
Outside of the big four pay-per-views, what's the best like B sort of pay-per-view? Like for example, you get like TLC, Hell in a Cell, or No Mercy, or all the other ones with all those names. What's like the best one outside of the big four?
Thank you, Flame Spitter.
Thank you.
Oh, I get to go first? That's right, I do. You have the right answer, but I'll make the case for Hell in a Cell. So many of the B-level pay-per-views, you kind of need to pick one of the gimmick ones because you know what you're going to get to a certain extent with those. For example, Hell in a Cell, my choice, you know you're going to get at least one, if not two or three Hell in a Cell matches.
Yeah, true.
And while the Hell in a Cell matches tend to be hit or miss, every year you'll get a match that's memorable.
There will be at least one.
That's memorable, or at least a moment that's memorable. Same can't be said for pretty much any other B-level pay-per-view.
That's true.
Barring your answer.
Yeah.
So it's really a choice between two. You just happened to say Money in the Bank before I did. Therefore, you get to pick Money in the Bank. So I have to choose Hell in a Cell. There's been some great Hell in a Cell matches, a lot of fun moments, a lot of crazy moments. And that's always a guarantee when it comes time, September, October, for Hell in a Cell season. Now just say Money in the Bank and we can move on because that's the right answer.
Is Money in the Bank even a B-level pay-per-view
It's
anymore?
like
though?
on the edge, though.
Don't they get their own takeover now?
They did this last year. It was the first time it happened.
If they continue to do that, it is... Well, no. There's other criteria. I guess there's other criteria for being a big four or being a big pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But so much happens. Like Money in the Bank is one of those amazing gimmicks that lends itself to so much unpredictability, which is when wrestling is at its best, when it's unpredictable. That just by nature, that's the crazy thing about Money in the Bank is that the gimmick itself is so strong that the pay-per-view itself has basically usurped Survivor Series as being the number 4.
Just about to say that.
Now, Survivor Series does have, or they did have, I don't know they're going to do this year, but the hook of brand versus brand, which is a really strong hook to have. So I'd prefer to call Money in the Bank sort of the addition of the Big Five. But that is absolutely the best non-Big Four pay-per-view there is.
Yes.
100%.
Agreed. Next, from Christopher Rampersad. Let's see what Christopher has to say.
Hello, Stephen Larson. So who's better, Edge or Randy Orton? Larson, you have Randy Orton. Steve, you have Edge. Who's better?
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher.
You get to go first, Steve.
All right, sounds good.
Who's better?
Oh, Edge.
Why?
He had sex on TV, live in front of everybody. He is, I believe, the most decorated WWE guy ever because of his tag titles, his mid. I mean, talking about a guy who's done it in every division, including the women's division. Hey, he's done it. He had sex. So anyways, yeah, it's Edge, man. I was never even a big Edge head. Just after the fact, when you look back on all the neat things Edge did, he did so many neat things.
He did do a lot of neat things.
And here's the thing about Edge that Orton really has had trouble doing. Edge kept things fresh. He always was evolving. He was the rated R superstar. He was a bad guy. He was a good guy. He was the hardcore guy who like beat up Mick Foley. He had that awesome hardcore match with Mick Foley. Oh man, are you kidding me? He did that pinfall on who was it? God, he had that. Was it on Trish? He had that pin. Was it on Lita? He had a pinfall where he like humped to 3. Dude, that guy. The funny thing about Edge too is that he actually comes off like one of the nicest guys, and so the fact that he was able to be like a really super nasty heel guy, oh man, it's freaking Edge.
What are you trying to say? Randy Orton hasn't evolved. Look at him now. Wildly entertaining. Something new we haven't seen from Randall Orton ever.
After like a wide gulf of like
I think
nothing.
I think that's more just WWE saying, no, you're a good guy, Randall Orton.
I don't know.
He said many times that he doesn't like being a face. He likes being a heel.
I don't recall Edge ever phoning it in. And when Orton isn't doing, you have to admit this, when Orton isn't given something that he likes to do, he doesn't do it.
Yeah. Oh, of course not. But here's why.
On this day.
You know, we keep on saying we're going to make a count out, the top 10 list of neat things that Edge has done.
List
we
shock.
could do the same
List shock.
for Randall Orton. The neat things he did.
Wouldn't be as cool as Edge.
He kicked Mick Foley down a flight of stairs.
That's true.
He burned down the Wyatt compound and remained a face somehow.
He didn't actually do
He
that.
teleported. Edge never teleported.
You're just using stuff from one feud.
He shot eye lasers almost.
Again, from that same feud. And we were there for that. It was all just kind of cheesy.
So he's done a lot of neat things.
Okay.
He's a 13-time world champion, more world championships than Edge has gotten.
Is he still the youngest ever? No. They made him the youngest ever after Brock left.
Yeah,
is he still the youngest?
I think he is, yes.
Okay.
He's still, youngest world champion ever. And it was great on SmackDown 1000 during the Evolution reunion. During his promo time, he just put himself over.
Look, man, I think Randy Orton's great, but he hasn't done nearly. And Edge was really
honestly, the only thing that Edge did that Randy Orton did was live sex show.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's it. That's
no, but thing. Edge was also he was a very well designed character, and Orton was always kind of, come on, man, Orton's a walking tribal tattoo. Give me a break. He's got all those tribal tattoos that he got covered up with skulls.
Yeah, he has that one.
Skulls. Rated R superstar, man. That dude had some cool color schemes. He wore a beanie and a vest. He was cool, man.
You don't like the cutoff hoodie look? Looks very comfortable.
I don't know, man. I'm not trying to have a favorite wrestler that looks like Bill Belichick, who dresses like Bill Belichick.
Well, it's not a pullover hoodie; it's a zip up.
Well, he's like a step away from a pullover.
And Belichick does like the. What do you even consider this? This is like a 1/3 sleeve. He cuts it off right here.
Yeah,
doesn't go down the elbow. It's not a 3/4 sleeve.
Yeah,
it's not cut off completely. It's like right here.
Yeah,
on a hoodie.
T-shirt hoodie pullover.
It's weird. I don't know. It doesn't look comfortable. Anyways,
I feel like Randy Orton's close to doing that. And Randy Orton would always come out with like the T-shirt on over his trunk, so
it looked like he had no trunks on.
Not good. It's not a cool look. Good. No, man,
it's good.
Not a cool look.
Edge is better. Next up, longtime patron, first-time Matt Chatter, Dommy Ray. Let's see what Dommy Ray has to say.
Oh, nice, Dommy Ray. That's a name I've not heard in a long time.
What's up, Stephen Larson? It is your boy, Dommy Ray, manager of the Asylum, the 6-0 undisputed leaders of the Patreon Fantasy Football League. Coming at you with my very first video question. I've been a patron for over 2 years now, but just now decided to bump up to that $20, get my care package, get some video questions in, so let's go. So for this question, one simple rule. It's a would you rather question, and you have to do anything that these parties tell you to do. You are not allowed to say no. So, would you rather spend an entire day working out with John Cena or spend an entire night partying with the Four Horsemen? Take care, friendos. Too sweet.
Thank you, Dami Ray.
Thank you, Dami Ray.
All right, here's the situation. We're both in our 40s now. So this is easy. In no way could I hang with the Horsemen. Like, I'm usually in bed by 11 at the absolute latest.
Nah, man.
So if Arn Anderson calls me up and says, come party with the Horsemen.
You think he's the guy that calls up? Is Flair sitting there? Woo! Yeah. You know, it'd be great. Call Larson. Yeah, call Larson.
No, I think what happens is Flair is like, he's the one that brainstorms the trouble they're going to get into.
Okay, yeah.
And then Arn is the one who organizes everything.
Sounds
Arn
good.
is the enforcer and organizer.
Okay, all right, good.
So Arn called
Which horseman is this that's calling you up?
It's Arn, I just said.
No, I'm sorry. Which version of the Horsemen are you?
Oh, Prime Horseman.
Okay, so we're talking
like
about
mid-'80s.
Ole, Tully, Arn, Flair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Arn's calling me up and goes, hey, Larson, but this is me today.
Yeah. And he's probably a very businesslike guy.
Oh, yeah. So he's like, we're going to do this, and this. What time are you starting? We're going to pre-party at 10:30. Wait for the limo to show up at midnight, and then we're going to go to the club.
Nice.
And I'm like, Arn, I'm sorry. I'm going to be ready to sleep by the time that limo arrives.
Insanity.
I'm sorry.
Insanity.
It sounds like a great time. Have fun. I'm going to pass this time. We need to do something at a more respectable hour, like 6 p.m. We can go somewhere, have some wine, have a nice meal, have a couple beers afterwards.
Terrible.
Count me in for that.
Terrible.
John Cena calls me up and says, Larson. Hi,
Yeah.
John Cena.
Hi, John Cena.
I would like to invite you today to accompany me to a local workout facility.
Nah, man.
So I can show you how to get ripped like John Cena.
This is a great question, though.
And so I would actually be intrigued by that because I like learning people's methods, whether it be creative methods. Like talk about that in the latest episode of the Super Kicks. We're talking about Virgil Abloh's creative method when designing his shoes. And then I'm also very curious into people's like workout routines, not only in terms of how they work out, but what they eat, the whole thing. I find it fascinating. So that would be of real genuine interest to me to know, like, what is John Cena's preparation? What does he eat? What is his workout routine? I couldn't compete with him in terms of the weight being put up. God, no.
No, of course not.
And while it'd probably be tough, it'd be strenuous, just kind of following what he does.
Yeah.
It would be fascinating.
Here's the thing. Okay.
So I'm going to pick working out with John Cena for a day.
Listen, here's the
thing. So I
thing.
could not hang with the Horsemen at all.
For a day, right?
I would die of alcohol poisoning.
No,
with
I'm
the
talking
Horsemen.
about Cena.
Oh.
How long do you think you could last with him in the gym? He would get so tired.
Here's the thing.
Of having to slow down for you to bring everything down to beginner's notch in John Cena parlance.
About that. He seems like he is able to relate to people on their level.
He's a robot. Of course he wouldn't. Sorry, he does not compute. You cannot lift that many weights.
He would use his robotic intellect in speaking patterns to explain to me proper form, how to increase my gains, that kind of stuff. I feel like he would be very patient in that respect, Steve.
This is the worst answer ever. It is see how long you can hang with the Horsemen. That it's try not to lend bias yourself.
You would fall asleep in Ole Anderson's lap by 11:15.
How amazing would that be? That sounds great. And then wake up with like dick drawings on my face.
Mm-hmm.
Man. I would try to hang with the Horsemen. Absolutely, I can stay up late. I stay up late all the time on the weekend. Sometimes I stay up till like 11:30.
Are you slamming booze the whole time?
You do the old trick of, you just got to know. You got to try to be a fly on the wall. You just go, hey, Steve, here you go. Here's a drink. All right, cool, Tully. And then do that. Nobody notices. Nobody notices. Triple H, that dude, he doesn't drink. He was hanging out with friggin' the Evolution. He was hanging out with Flair. He was able to hack it. No, man, I'd hang out with the Horsemen. It'd be great. How much partying do you think Tully Blanchard does? That fool did not party that hard.
Oh, he might have back then. Now, not at all.
No, so I'm talking about back then.
Oh, I'm guessing he probably partied pretty hard.
Probably not that much.
I think he did, man.
I don't know. I would definitely hang with them.
Nah.
Absolutely.
No, Cena. I get ripped.
It's a day.
I know, but he would give me the tools. He would teach me his tricks, how to get jacked. At this stage of my life, it's all about taking care of my body.
I'm 40 years old. I could die tomorrow of like a heart attack or something. I want to go out when my heart explodes from having too much cocaine off of strippers' booty because Ric Flair dared me to.
This is a weird dichotomy, Steve, because you say that, yet you want to live forever.
Well, if I don't live forever, I prefer to live until I hang out with the four horsemen and my heart blows up.
Well, it's never going to happen.
From cocaine. Well, of course it's never going to happen. I don't have a time travel device. Take me back 1986 and do all that, do I? No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Of course, I know it's not going to happen.
It's not gonna
That's
happen,
not the question is, can you make it happen? The question is, what would you rather do? Not hang out with nerd John Cena.
What would happen is Arn would call you up at like 8 o'clock, give you the plans, like, yeah, because I'd probably do the same thing. Oh, Arn, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And then like 10 to 10. Sorry, Arn. Not to take a rain check on this one.
If it's like a Friday night, then yeah, because I do go to bed early during the week.
Because you've already worked a full day.
Bro, we don't work here. Give me a break. We're freaking answering wrestling questions from our patron members. No, because I go to bed early because Bama wakes up at like 6 in the morning. But if it's like a Saturday night, because I could sleep in on Saturday morning, man, load me up.
All right, let's test this. Saturday, let's go out and partying, you and me.
Oh, I'll drink you under the table. I'll be going till 4 a.m. We go to a strip club? You want to go strip club with me?
I guess that's part of the Horseman experience.
Yeah, man.
It's not exactly my
You
thing.
and me, we get our high rolling poker friend. Bring him in on the action. Absolutely.
We'll see. Next.
Maybe our wives might be going out.
It's true.
Possibly.
Possibly. Next, from Thayer Thabata, Matt Chat Hall of Famer. Let's see what Thayer Thabata has to say.
I got to send him out that shirt.
Hey guys, so the Friendoverse poll is back up and running, and what they want to know is would more major independent and New Japan stars be willing to go to WWE if Triple H was in charge instead of Vince McMahon? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Thayer Thabata.
Thank you, Thayer Thabata. You got to go first.
Okay, well, his question is, would more indie / New Japan stars
You have
want
the
to go
notes
to,
up. Why don't you look on your own monitor, man?
Would more indie / New Japan stars want to go to
Keep
WWE
looking over at my stuff.
if Triple H was in charge?
Here's the thing.
Can I just answer the question? Just because I sigh doesn't mean I want you to start talking.
No, there's pause.
I don't think they care. I think there's no proof in the pudding right now as to long-term Triple H / Vince McMahon. Vince is going to be around probably till he dies, and that's probably going to be another 30 years from now. That's what I'm preparing for. So I think that it's a business, and if they're smart, what they'll recognize, and I'm not saying they're all smart, but what they'll recognize is the only thing that matters is what's in your contract. The rest is up to your bosses. Nobody knows. Nobody could possibly know what Triple H has in mind for the main roster. For all we know, he's still going to be answering to Stephanie, and for all we know, Stephanie's going to be a carbon copy of her dad. We don't know. And so it would be silly for anybody to think, well, I'm just going to wait this out. I'm going to wait till Triple H is in charge. So no, I don't think Vince necessarily is going to. I'll be honest with you. I would imagine most wrestlers out there in the independent scene, they're probably geeked to try to work within Vince McMahon's system because it's been something that's so, it's like, well, I've seen it work. I want to see if I can make it work. I want to see if I can be the next Jericho. I want to see if I can be the next Edge. They all made it work within the Vince McMahon system. Why can't I? And sure, many people have failed, but why can't I? And so I think that if nothing else, maybe people are up for the challenge. But at the end of the day, it's how many zeros on the paycheck. I think that's all that matters.
The only people I could think that might really care about the creative aspects so much they wouldn't go to WWE would be the guys in the Elite. And because it's very well known that Vince is a control freak. He doesn't like giving up control.
Lashley.
So if that roadblock wasn't in place, if they were going into negotiations with WWE knowing there was a much better chance that they would get a great degree of creative input into their stories, I would think they would be more apt to go, as opposed to now where you hear Cody say, well, I don't know if I could ever go back there because I can't take direction. I want to do what I want to do. You hear that from the Young Bucks. You hear that from Kenny Omega.
Let me ask you this. You do hear that a lot, especially from Cody.
Yeah.
Is that him sort of to use the parlance of a popular platform these days, sort of verbally subtweeting at the WWE.
Oh, maybe.
Saying, hey, before we get to the negotiating table, this is something that I'm putting out there amongst my interviews and stuff so that you kind of know this is going to be one expectation. It could be.
Maybe. I don't know. So if they would be of the understanding that Triple H would be more amenable to creative input into a collaborative effort, then they might be more willing to go. But beyond that, I mean, they're pretty much signing everybody as it is.
I know. Nobody seems to have a problem with it now.
Yeah. So, and I think you're right. In I think some wrestlers would probably like the challenge of achieving a certain amount of stardom in the independent ranks for New Japan, then go to WWE, see if they could replicate that.
Sure.
On the largest platform possible, and knowing full well, I'm sure that it might be an uphill climb from a creative standpoint.
Yeah.
So I think some people would probably be really into that, and it helps that you probably get paid really well too. But apart from the guys in the elite, I don't know of anybody that might be put off per se by the creative. Yeah. Good
next
question,
up.
though.
Yeah, really good question. Next up. Thank you, Friendoverse, for that.
Yes.
Next up, Daniel Gillespie.
Correct.
This is a good guy. I like this question here about the Hall of Fame. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, everybody. I'm here at work throwing freight and bored, so I'm thinking about wrestling like you do. I'm wondering, there's 4 superstars that have all been in the WWE for approximately the same amount of time. Sheamus, Kofi Kingston, The Miz, and Dolph Ziggler. Are there any of these 4 who you think are sure thing Hall of Famers? And if so, why do you think that? I think all 4 of them have pretty strong cases to make, but I don't think any of them are for sure. So, all right, let me know what you think. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
All right, so we got Kofi, we got Sheamus, we got Miz, and we got Dolph.
Yeah.
In my mind, they are all Hall of Fame.
They're all Hall of Famers.
Right now, if they were all to stop wrestling today, right now, they would all eventually go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, agreed.
Of that group, depending on what The Miz does over the next 10 years, I could see him being a possible headliner. If he gets a couple more world title reigns, if Miz and Mrs. launches him to a certain level of crossover stardom, I can definitely see him as a headliner. If Kofi, whether as member of New Day or otherwise, gets a world title run, potentially a headliner. But Dolph and Sheamus, they're both going to the Hall of Fame.
They're all going into the Hall of Fame. Miz is the only headliner. Kofi has the credentials for it, but he never really broke through in the singles realm in terms of true world champion or even true world champion contender. Miz has been a world champion. He's probably going to be another world champion very soon. If something happened with the Miz and he, ended up hurting himself really bad, and like for example, so Daniel Bryan, if he never came back, he wasn't able to come back, and he was done. Assuming Undertaker, Batista, The Rock, right? They're probably going to be the next couple of headliners. After that, we're looking at a very open field. It's Undertaker, Rock, Batista, and Triple H, I guess.
Yeah.
Those are the next, those should be the next 4 headliners.
Yeah.
After that, but those are all really fluid headliners.
Yeah.
They can headline any year. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. At a certain point, I assume Vince is going to have to go into his own Hall of Fame.
He'll die before that happens. I would think.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
But.
The Miz, and I suspect that Triple H will probably headline when there's no clear headliner. They'll probably do Undertaker, Batista, and The Rock. And then if there's nobody that makes sense, Triple H will do it. If there's somebody that makes sense, he won't do it because he's a business guy.
Yeah.
The Miz,
there's another headliner right there.
If he had to retire tomorrow, he would be probably the next headliner. Absolutely. Whenever he retires, he's going to be a headliner. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. The others, no.
Brock will be a headliner. That's the only other wrestler I can think of right now that's kind of active. That's an obvious headliner.
Yeah.
I mean, Roman will be. They'll make him a headliner, whether he should be or not.
Roman.
AJ will be a headliner.
Roman's already a headliner. Brock is definitely headliner material. That's going to be interesting how much he's going to ask for.
Oh, to show up for the ceremony.
Show up for the ceremony.
I know.
Because I feel like that's going to be a thing.
Yeah. Next from Loki. See what Loki has to say.
Hello, Stephen Larson. Loki Richard here, the Freak of Flight, with another Matt Chat question. My Matt Chat question for you this week is, they have announced that Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch is going to be the first ever last woman standing match. But wait, didn't they already have that in NXT? Asuka versus Nikki Cross? Is NXT canon? Debate. Have fun. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Loki.
Thank you, Loki.
So, Steve, is NXT canon for the main roster?
I have a theory. So, too often we've seen characters like Bob Roode, for example, quantum leap from NXT to main roster. When they get to main roster, they mysteriously are acting completely different than they did just prior when they were in NXT. This happens every once in a while. Asuka was really, really hot in NXT. She comes on a main roster. All of a sudden, she's having problems against people like Emma. Very strange. They reference her NXT win streak. They reference Bob Roode being an NXT champion. So, in one respect, yes, NXT is canon. However, the question is, which NXT? I have a theory. Just like there are multiple Triple H's within the universe of the WWE, there's Degeneration X Triple H, there's Evolution Triple H. There's COO Triple H. They all occupy different universes. I believe that the televised NXT is not canon to the main roster because cable TV exists in a different universe than the WWE network. Vis-a-vis, just wait. Which means that there is an NXT in the main roster universe that we are not privy to because it does not appear on cable TV. If it appeared on USA Network, then perhaps, maybe that one episode that we saw is a version of the canon NXT for main roster.
There is one massive hole in the argument you just laid out, as you laid it out, saying that the WWE Network exists in different universes of cable television. Explain to me pay-per-views, then, that obviously exist within the same universe as the main roster television show.
I've thought about this. Pay-per-views. Oh, God. I got some in my throat, so you have to just give us your answer.
Okay. All right. Fine. You all right? No? No, it can be a while before you can talk?
Right.
All right. That's what I thought. There's a simpler answer to this, Steve. No one in main roster creative watches NXT. Triple H has said that Vince doesn't watch NXT.
Isn't this supposed to be in kayfabe?
No. There's no kayfabe aspect to this question whatsoever.
Canon is kayfabe. It's like the definition of
no,
canon.
it's not. No, not
canon
really.
is within the universe of the story.
I agree, but it's not necessarily kayfabe. You don't need a in front of the camera explanation why whatever happens at NXT doesn't seem to carry over to the main roster.
Canon exists for questions like, is Han Solo's wife from the comic books also the wife in the movies?
I understand what canon is.
All right.
But I think
why is this artist drawing the wife different?
I understand.
Than the actress portraying her.
But if for example, the individual who was writing the Star Wars comic had never seen anything from the Star Wars universe and decided to write this thing.
That'd be a terrible hire.
It would be.
Yeah.
But that seems to be what's happening on the main roster with NXT talent. It seems like no one is aware of what they did in NXT and what succeeded for them in NXT. Okay. I think that's the more logical explanation.
Okay. That is the explanation. However, the question begs for you to look at this. Why is it? Tell me, why is it? And you cannot say bad writing. Within the context of kayfabe, within the context of characters, why is it Bobby Roode shows up on main roster as a completely different person than he was in NXT?
This is why.
Okay, here we go.
He as heel Bob Roode in NXT, he won the title. However, he could not keep it as Bob Roode heel in NXT. So upon teleporting from NXT to the main roster, he had a change of heart.
Gate.
He had the Raw Gate, which will debut soon on Weeper Craw. He realized the error in his ways and decided to become generic smiling babyface Bob Roode, thinking that would lead to greater success on the main roster.
The easier answer for that one, actually, is he simply had no idea just how much more he'd be getting paid on main roster. And when he saw that paycheck, he said,
all smiles.
Glorious!
All smiles.
Exactly. Exactly. I like my answer much better.
Doesn't make any sense. There's still that huge hole there about the pay-per-views.
But I haven't done the math on that yet, okay? I've got only so far on my math. I'm sure there is math that correlates to what universe
Your mistake was making a blanket statement about things on the W
I
Network.
know. I saw your stupid your little hamster wheel spinning in your head. I saw that fire when I said that.
Yeah.
I immediately thought pay-per-views. Just means I haven't done the math on it yet.
All right.
Continuing.
We'll come back.
That's
around
a great
that.
question, though. That should be a freaking thumbnail right there.
Yeah.
This is your show, so I'm just throwing that out there. Either that
There's
one or,
so many that
honestly, it's either that one or it's the next one.
Next one, Patrick Sparks.
This is great.
It's a great question.
Hey, friendos, Pat here, repping the Oceanside hoodie. But my debate for you this week is this show has been vulgar. So is Raw, SmackDown, all of WWE's product. But we've talked about pre-cum on this show. We've talked about oversized areolas and like minimal sized areolas. And just weirdness about that. Larson loves to say the front area. Steve likes to say kicked right in the dick. My question and debate for you this week is about ass. Specifically, Rikishi and Vince McMahon. What is worse? The Kiss My Ass Club or having to take a stink face from Rikishi? Thanks, friendos. Have a good one.
Thank you, Patrick Sparks. B-Man.
Okay, so who goes first? You go first.
All right. I mean, I understand why you would... why your answer is your answer, because you're getting somebody's butt crack shoved in your face, and that's kind of icky.
Well, you're millimeters away from an actual butthole.
Yeah. However, in terms of pure humiliation, getting down on your knees and puckering up and putting lips to your boss's behind, that's like maximum humiliation, basically.
Yeah.
So while there's no actual face and butt crack involved in this, and just in terms of having to do that on TV is humiliating. Even in terms of kayfabe, it's humiliating having to kiss another person's ass. So I would say in that sense, it might not be as gross, in a hygienic sense, but it's kind of gross. You just feel humiliated in front of the entire world.
Okay.
It's awful.
Number one. Because I'm sort of solidifying my view on this.
All right.
William Regal, one of the most well-respected, amazing, had one of the most amazing careers in pro wrestling. He is in the Kiss My Ass Club. If William Regal can join the Kiss My Ass Club, then it's not humiliating. What does Vince McMahon love? He loves people who can make fun of themselves. There's no humiliation there. Yes, it's all for fun. It's all for the entertainment. You're kissing Vince McMahon's ass, and it's gross. And theoretically, in character, yeah, it's humiliating. But you go backstage, Vince probably gives you a big hug, thinks you're the bee's knees because you're man enough to do something so silly like the Kiss My Ass Club. On the other hand, that's a good Google right there. On the other hand, with Rikishi, let's see, who's joined the Kiss My Ass Club?
Regal, JR, Shawn Michaels.
Wow, see?
Shane. I mean, Shane's, that's face and butt
That's
crack.
like that's a stink, yeah.
Foley.
Okay.
Hornswoggle.
So besides...
Avoided membership, Stone Cold,
okay.
Trish Stratus.
Okay.
Bischoff, Marty Jannetty. Triple H.
So, on the other hand, number one, that's an elite club right there. That's an elite club. On the other hand, you have, and how many people had to eat Rikishi's asshole?
I mean, it happened on a nightly basis.
On a nightly basis. So you're you're either in the mid card or you're a curtain jerker having to eat some fat dude's butthole. That's disgusting. That's absolutely horrendous for like what? A $500 payday back in 1998, whatever it was. Like sometimes you're just a straight up jobber. Hey, come in. Okay, cool. Who am I fighting? Rikishi? Oh, man. And then I don't know if Rikishi, like, you know, hygienically took care of himself that day. I don't know if he wipes properly. There's a lot of landscape. There's a lot of real estate back there. You got to, and he digs his butthole and that's disgusting. That's horrible. You're changing your mind now, aren't you? At the end of the day, you got to look at it like this. Those Kiss My Ass Club guys are all making a pretty penny on that paycheck, right? So chances are, if you're in a McMahon segment and he's having you kiss your ass, you've had a pretty damn good career. If you're having to eat Rikishi's butthole, there's no guarantee of where you are on the card. I'm right, aren't I?
I don't know.
I'm right. So right.
You can be right about that one. I was right about the previous one.
Fair
Next,
enough.
Zach S.
Wait, which previous one?
Loki's question.
The canon one?
Yeah, I'm totally right about that.
No.
You're way wrong on that. Alternate universe. You got to work out that math before you can come at me with that kind of stuff. Zach S. is next. Let's see what Zach has to say.
What's good, Stephen Larson and Mandy Friendos out there? It's your Match At Hall of Famer, Zach S., coming at you with another Match At question. Question this week is basically the same as last week, but it's going to be two different superstars, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who's going to be in a tougher position to get back to a elevated status. Thanks, boys.
Thank you, Zach S.
Thank you, Zach S. I mean, Sami Zayn. He was hanging on the relevance by a string as it was. He's out for several months with 2 shoulder surgeries.
Yeah, I'll say this about Sami Zayn. He's the one guy who was pretty much untouched, like coming from NXT to main roster. Exactly the same guy. He had a hard time getting over, or not getting over, I'm sorry. He had a hard enough time winning in developmental, and then he comes up to main roster, and he's like one of the losingest wrestlers there. I love Sami Zayn.
Me too.
I think he's great.
Me too.
You're absolutely right. Kevin Owens, for whatever reason, sorry, I shouldn't say it that way because I know why. Kevin Owens is amazing, and I think the WWE really likes him.
Yes.
I mean, have they pushed him in the main event role
of late? Not really. But.
Yeah, not really. But he had a main event slot in
Oh, yeah.
SmackDown back in the day.
Oh, yeah, and the whole stuff he did
Universal
with Jericho
Champion.
was great.
Yeah. So I think there's plenty of Kevin Owens immediately. They literally had to fill his. They changed Bobby Lashley's very character nature on a dime to fill the void that Kevin Owens is leaving. Yes, it's Kevin Owens is going to have a far easier time getting back to relevance. It'll be immediate.
Yes.
It'll probably be impactful.
Yes.
Sami Zayn's probably not, unless he's hitched a ride with Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Yeah. Next from A.O. Worm. See what A.O. Worm has to say.
What's good, everybody? It's A.O. Worm here. Back with another Match Chat question. All right, Steven Larson. So my question is for this week, what if the world of professional wrestling was real, like actually no shit like MMA boxing type real, like there was no trying to protect your opponents, like you were trying to hurt them like legitimately? Do you think that wrestling will have a better standing in the world of professional wrestling or combat sports, as they say? Would you think it will hold more weight and not be like the laughing stock, like how real UFC fans claim that, oh, wrestling is fake, it's not real? Like, people still really get hurt, but I'm saying, like, what if it actually was like legitimately real? Do you think that it would change anything about it? Like, do you think there'll still be stories to it? Do you think like high spots and low spots in matches? Like, let me know what you guys think about that. Too sweet, hearty handshake. I guess shoulder lean we're doing now. Thanks, Steve, for that. All right, guys, take it easy.
Thank you, A.O. Worm.
Thank you, A.O. Worm.
So if pro wrestling was like Pancrase,
yeah,
where it was kind of the move sets were kind of based on pro wrestling, but it was all shoot.
Yeah.
Would it be held in higher esteem? Would it be ridiculed for being fake?
Well,
I mean, it wouldn't be ridiculed for being fake, so it wouldn't be fake.
So, I mean, yeah, you would take that element out of it. But the problem with that is, here's the problem. Pro wrestling relies so heavily on personality. And as we saw in the Brawl for All in 1998, the toughest guys were not necessarily the most personable guy, personality-driven guys.
Well, it's the same in UFC. I mean, like, you have Conor McGregor, for example, who's got this huge personality and for the most part has been able to dominate his weight divisions. But here's the thing about the UFC is that the windows for these guys to be on top is so small.
Yeah.
There's always someone coming up through the ranks that seems ready to take the title. Yeah. Yeah. And the turnover at the top of each weight division is a lot.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, this is a weird question from AO Worm because, like, what moves would be used? It was like,
imagine like pile drivers being shoot moves.
90% of wrestling moves cannot be executed shoot. I mean, you can try.
Yeah.
You think you can execute a pile driver shoot?
Oh, probably not. No. You could probably do a DDT.
Yeah.
If you like legit kick someone in the gut, they would probably really bend over.
They'd probably start to crumble over a little bit.
And you can maybe do a DDT on them.
I mean, it's funny. We've seen in mixed martial arts some people use certain...
Oh, suplexes and stuff.
Yeah, we've seen that. But if you toss the character stuff in there...
Someone win a match with a Boston Crab?
Yeah, that's great. The problem is the characters and storylines and personalities. Like, regardless of what you think, or what we think, there is some planning that is involved with storylines. They probably do think... Well, I can guarantee they think, well, we want Roman Reigns to have this title for a very long time. You can't do that if he's actually getting his ass whooped, you know? So would it have more legitimate... Would people make fun of it because it's fake? No, because it wouldn't be fake.
But would it be as entertaining?
No.
It would just be UFC pretty much.
Yeah, just be UFC.
It'd just be a slightly different version of UFC.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
You know, and I think one aspect that you and I appreciate most about pro wrestling is it's a platform for storytelling. And for the most part, you would lose that if it were real.
So according to, sorry, this is neither here nor there, Devin Panzarella on Twitter, he said, to help you guys out, according to Forbes, I'm not sure how old his reference is, but Finn Balor's #3 top merch sales behind Roman and AJ.
All right.
He's getting a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Anyways, moving
on. Stephen M. See what Stephen M has to say.
Goes out to Friendos because it's your Irish linguistic expert Stephen M here with another Mad Chat question. Should WWE do a gimmick show like, say, Progress did a while back with their 70 themes pay-per-view where all the wrestlers donned 70s gimmicks and names and such? What I was thinking is one for Southpaw Regional Wrestling and one for Halloween Havoc. I want each of you to pick one, book the whole event, the pay-per-view, and defend whose is best. Too sweet. Hearty handshake. Steve shoulder lean.
Thank you, Stephen M.
Thank you, Stephen.
That was a great question. And what's that?
Thank you, Stephen.
I think this is great. I think it'd be great if WWE did like a period theme gimmick card. Here's what I want to see.
Okay.
Like some anniversary of something special at MSG. Like one of Bruno's wins.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Have like a I think it was 68 where he won the title the first time at MSG. Have like a 1968 themed event at Madison Square Garden.
That'd be cool.
And everybody dressing in period garb. Change people's names just like they did Progress.
Yeah.
You know, to names comparable to what they had in 1968.
Yeah.
You know, put filters on the footage. I think that'd all be awesome.
You could dig out some old cameras.
Yeah.
Like they used to use. You don't need filters for that. How about this? Yeah, you go back to the 1900s.
Barge in international waters.
No.
Yeah.
You get a barn somewhere.
Oh, that's not as interesting.
And then a bunch of people just sort of loosely around an area where there's some dirt.
Hand cranking cameras.
Exactly.
All right.
That's what I want. Like, imagine a freaking stomp from that.
Yeah.
Power bomb on the dirt.
Yeah. No, it's got to be a barge. It's got to be a barge in international waters,
man.
man.
You do you, I do me. I just want to do my barn.
I'm just improving your idea.
My 1900s.
Put the barn in international waters and everybody wins.
Fine.
A barn on a barge.
Some pigs falling off the edge.
Poor pigs. Poor pigs.
That'd be terrible.
It would be awful. Next, from Tim Spulak, let's see what Tim has to say.
Hey, friendos, Tim Spulak here with another Matt Chat question. So with WWE getting a lot of money with their network deals, and there's rumors of the WWE Network getting multiple tiers, what would you want to see for added content to the WWE Network? Maybe minus archive footage, but add in whether it's VR for the different perspectives of the ring, or extra commentary for matches from one wrestler or another. Anything that might attract people more to the network. You know, I'm very techie, so things that might work on that end to add more content, more value to it. So that's my Matt Chat question. Too sweet.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
I hope you're okay.
Yeah, the nasty chair shot you took there.
Yeah, what's up with Match Chat? It's been so violent lately. First we had Bobby Mincy, he got leveled.
Yeah.
And then Tim here.
Yeah.
Last week he doled out a whatever that was.
Like a Death Valley driver. And now he gets clobbered with a chair.
So I think we've kind of answered this question in the past, but I'm always happy to revisit it. For me, it's perpetually going to be two things. A TVMA version of ECW. I think, look, here's the thing. I totally understand Triple H wanting to do the territory route of NXT UK. They're probably going to do like an NXT Japan, NXT Mexico. I totally understand that. It would be fun to see like a WWE, like a different take on something where it's not region specific and it's not it's something different because they have a bunch of people coming in. You need to put those people somewhere, and they're not all going to be bound by region or weight class, stuff like that. So what you need to do is come up with some other form of programming, and I think an ECW reboot that's TV 14. I think that'd be swell. I think that'd be great. So you can do that.
All right, this is what I want to see.
Also, offline viewing.
That's good too. It'd be cool for either select matches or select shows if they had a means of doing it. Going in and watching a show, and you get to select what camera angles you watch the show.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
From
I like that.
That'd be fun.
Play Kevin Dunn. Yeah.
So you can do a better job of it.
I would. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be cool if you can like control the cameras. If you can be like, okay,
well, they can't do that real time.
I want like jerky zooms on cameras 1, 2, and 3, and I just keep on flipping between the three of them.
I want the crane to be constantly going from side to side.
Exactly.
That's what I want to see.
So that'd be great.
No, I think just being able to, it'd probably be more possible or possible at all with select matches, just a match here and there. To go in and pick camera angles to
that'd be
kind
fun.
of get a different view of the action.
That'd be cool. I do think with so much talent, they need more programming that sort of makes sense.
I don't know. I feel like the last thing WWE needs is more programming because it's so easy to get burnt out on the programming that's already there.
Well, that's because that's very specific to us because we have.
No, I don't think it is. I think that's why.
Not everybody has to be a completist.
I understand that, but we talked about that today on our SmackDown recap. That one of the reasons people might be feeling burnout because there's just so much to watch.
Yeah, I know.
Minimum of what, 9 or 10 hours a week? Yeah. If you want to watch everything, that's a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, it is.
Just for WWE.
If you could only choose one thing, would you watch
SmackDown?
Yeah, me too. Or NXT. But the NXT, that conversation we had about people like quantum leaping out of NXT, it's like, oh, I really like that guy. Whatever happened to him? He's not going to have like another rematch or maybe go for like a tag title with somebody else, or he's not going to mill it.
Gone.
Just gone. He's missing now. He's gone.
Just dithered away.
Yeah.
Next, Steve Zodiac Killer. He's not here. He's not here with a question. Let's see what.
Box?
No, he's not. Let's see what Steve Zodiac Killer has to say.
Hello, Stephen Larson. It's Steve Zodiac Killer here for another match chat question. With Titus Worldwide obviously splitting up, and what do you think next for the members of Titus Worldwide? Obviously, Apollo Crews is appearing on main event, but I don't think I've seen Dana Brooke or Titus anywhere. I'll also know you guys' opinions. Too sweet, heart handshake, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Steve Zodiac Killer.
Thank you.
What's his question?
Oh, what's next for Titus Worldwide?
Oh, well, Dana Brooke was just on Raw.
Yeah,
she's going to be in that.
Apollo Crews.
Isn't she going to be in that women's
Battle
Royal that
yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
poo-pooing?
It looks like Apollo Crews might be getting into a program with Elias, so that'll be great for Apollo.
That'll be great for him. I don't know what to say about Titus, but Triple H tweeted something about him very nice the other day about him winning some other.
Yeah, he's a great ambassador for the company
or something. Yeah,
Titus is.
Maybe he can do that. I don't know. I mentioned this the other day to you on the Raw recap if you watch Breaking Ground again, there is so much on Dana Brooke there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really kind of a bummer, like how she fell off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess she was probably brought up too soon. But at the same time, when you're on the road, you get a lot of reps.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think she's a bad wrestler or anything. I don't think she does anything in the ring to stand out necessarily.
Yeah.
But, man, they were building her up so hardcore. And, like, you would see other people. You'd see, like, Alexa Bliss, and you would see a couple others. And it's like, oh, man, they ended up blowing up pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
But they focused on Dana Brooke, and they just never really,
I know. Well, same with Apollo Crews. I mean, not in Breaking Ground per se, but, you know, he was brought into NXT with some fanfare, but he was called up too early before he really had a chance to develop a character.
Yeah.
Not that it matters on main anymore, but but if he'd stayed in NXT for an extra 6 months and was able to really develop a character, and at least if that happens, there's a chance that character could be brought up to main, as opposed to not really having any character in NXT, coming up to main with no character whatsoever. The fans aren't necessarily that familiar with him because he was in NXT for such a short period of time.
He's one of those guys. So I don't know if the WWE is going to be releasing anybody ever, but he's one of those guys that I kind of feel like if he gets released and he goes somewhere else,
oh man,
to build his character
in 3 years, he's gonna be massive.
I would think so.
He's got all the talent.
Yeah, I know.
He's got all the tools.
I still think he might have a really good shot at getting somewhere in the WWE, just because even if he doesn't get released, because he can do magic in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's good. He needs a hook.
I know.
He needs a hook.
I know. Next from Vinny Elliott. Let's see what Vinny has to say.
Hey, friendos. We can all agree Elias is the best. But when he says WWE stands for and the whole crowd goes, walk with Elias, is there going to be one crowd, one city that just goes silent on him? I mean, nothing. What are some of the things he could come back with or do? What do you guys think? And does he have already in his mind what he will do or say in that situation? Thanks, friendos.
Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you, Vinny. No, man.
People like chanting things, so
yeah.
When there's an opportunity to say something along with the wrestler, they will take advantage of it.
When they go to so the only to play devil's advocate, because we got a debate. At this point, it's got to be Seattle. They go back around to Seattle. There's a good chance that he's going to get booed, and if he says WWE stands for, they might not. They might just keep. They probably still will.
They still will.
Because here's the thing: you go to the show. Here's the thing: you want Raw to be good, just go to a show, because you're still there. You're entertained. You have popcorn. You have a hot dog.
You
some
can
nachos.
participate in some of these communal activities, like saying "Walk with the Lions."
Yeah, it's a You're exactly right. It's a communal activity. Everybody's going to do it. Maybe not Seattle.
No, they'll do it in Seattle, and they'll do it, and they'll go back to booing him.
Maybe why not?
But otherwise, Seattle's the only possibility. But it'll never be a situation where he's met with silence.
No.
Never.
No. It's either booze or walk with the
Lions.
Yeah.
A couple text questions. First from D'Angelo Hopkins. He says, "Hey, friendos, first ever Matt Chat question. Debate who is the better overall wrestler between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. That includes look and presentation, ability on the mic, and ability in the ring, storytelling ability. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Thanks, friendos."
All right. So, the best professional wrestler, the best sports entertainer.
Thank you.
Including everything that you just mentioned, is, in my opinion, far and away, future star Tommaso Ciampa. His look, his charisma on the
that theme
mic
song is top notch too.
That theme song is amazing. That dude is built for success on the main roster. People love to hate him. They can't get enough of him. I am actually floored that it's not often that somebody goes from sort of signee, they make into a tag team guy, and wow, they're a really great tag team. They're really great. And then he comes back and massive star. Like, do you think they saw that in him during that, or they just knew that, hey, this could be a really good angle?
I think it's more because it wasn't like Gargano or Ciampa were signees that they had that they would have at the time. in the audience at Takeover.
Yeah, right.
Not that they did that at the time.
Yeah, not even
I mean,
close.
they were just brought in for extra hands,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And they managed to garner a fan base, and they signed them on.
Mhm.
I mean, because initially they were just like day players, essentially. They come in for matches, and then they'd go back out to the indies and do their work.
Yeah.
Before they were eventually signed. And it wasn't even that long ago they were signed.
Yeah, I know.
It was kind of in not even. I think it was after the Cruiserweight Classic. I think they were both signed to full-time deals.
That sounds right. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's kind of. It's not. They weren't the ballyhooed signees that Ricochet or Adam Cole or Matt Riddle or Keith Lee have been.
I mean,
despite doing awesome work in the indies for years.
Is it possible that Ciampa came back, and number one, he looked fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
He looked amazing, and so his return was when he did this stuff. Well,
he showed up. He showed up after Gargano and Almas's match in Philadelphia.
That's
the Rumble.
Right. That's
and
right.
after the match was over, hit Gargano with the crutch. Yeah.
And then they had that terrific match.
Yeah.
And I would think at that point they were like, "Oh my god!" Like if that match went over like a wet fart, they probably would have been like, "Okay, well, no, he's not."
I don't know if it's necessarily relying on that match, but I think they knew the story they were telling had a lot of potential. And yeah, maybe they didn't initially think it would involve the NXT title per se.
Well, I think the fact that they ran with it in every aspect from his return, and they just kept on running with it. That's what's impressive. That's what's so impressive about NXT is that it doesn't, in no way did it ever feel that they were like, okay, this Ciampa guy, he's going to be a huge single star. He came back, they decided to run this angle. Everything about it worked so hardcore, and it led them to the title. I'm really curious as to when they decided, hey, we're going to put that title on Ciampa.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
I know.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
For me, it's Ciampa.
Ciampa's great. They're both great. They're both fantastic. They're both great. I'll say Ciampa probably has the advantage in terms of the mic work. His packaging's great. I like, apart from Gargano's theme song, which I'm not huge on, I like everything else about his packaging. I like the logo and how they have the color phasing and his
oh yeah, I know.
graphic. It all looks great.
Yeah, it looks great.
His theme isn't bad. It's just not my taste.
Oh, I really see. I wouldn't listen to his theme in the car.
No,
but it fits him.
Oh, totally,
perfectly.
totally. It does. It does. Gargano is a participant in probably at least the two best matches WWE has put on in the year. Against Almas and the first one against Ciampa.
Yeah.
That match again, rarely at a pay-per-view or something. Or during a pay-per-view, do I watch a match twice? I watched his match against Almas twice because it was that damn good.
Yeah.
So I think in terms, and he's guaranteed to put on a good match with basically everybody. His match against Tony Nese was awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Every match he's had this year has been awesome.
Yeah, I'd probably rather watch a Gargano match than a Ciampa match. But man, Ciampa puts everything together.
Oh, he does.
And his matches are so good.
Yeah, they are.
Dude,
there's no wrong
Ciampa
answer.
had a freaking 4-star match with Otis.
Yeah, I know. That was really good. That was really good.
Give me Ciampa.
I'm interested to see how this story concludes.
Me too.
Hopefully we'll find out soon. Last, from Wayne-Maker.
Wayne-Maker, you wanker.
He says, with Cody posting a very cryptic tweet that insinuated a wrestling union, do you guys think that this is now the perfect time for this to happen? If successful, would this mean any independent wrestler in the union would be ignored by WWE, or will the incoming Triple H finally override Vince with a more modern-day approach regarding independent contractors? Hearty handshake to Larson and the British strong style, one sweet Steve. You've gotten back in my good graces, but still a tip-top.
You tip-top, you plastic.
Wanker.
Anyways. The furthest I could see it going under Triple H, and again, Stephanie could be a carbon copy of her dad, and I think she has more of a say. Maybe they'll make them employees? But even that is man. Okay, here's what it would take. The IRS says in their rules, if you treat, and I don't know if there's solid concrete criteria for this, if you treat a freelancer like an employee, you need to make them employees because otherwise you're breaking tax code. I don't know if that's ever enforced. I don't know if there's any way to enforce it. I don't know because wrestling is a weird thing. But there's the possibility that they would make them employees during their time with the WWE. That's weird. I don't see a union ever happening, though.
I don't even know how a union would work on the independent ranks.
I don't know.
I mean, of course, the idea of the union is everybody is collective bargaining. Everybody, I guess they would get together to demand a certain wage scale from promoters and certain benefits. But I don't know how, based on the little I know about the inner workings of independent wrestling, I don't know how that would even work.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a vast array of promotions across the world.
Again, I think Cody's probably subtweeting WWE.
Maybe. I agree with you. WWE needs to, if they're going to treat wrestlers under contract as independent contractors, and that means they are independent contractors and they should be able to work for wherever they want as long as it doesn't conflict with WWE dates. That, for me, that's actually the definition of independent contractor.
It is.
It is. So if they're going to call them independent contractors, treat them as such. If they're going to treat them like employees, and actually employ them on a full-time basis and offer them benefits like health insurance and cover their travel expenses.
Yeah.
Just do that.
I agree.
I
agree. But at the same time, I'm not privy to their business practices per se. But there does seem to be some carny leftovers in terms of that stuff. So I would just think that, I would also imagine there are some criteria that the IRS probably looks at in terms of, do you treat these people like employees or freelancers?
I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that.
Me neither. But they've been able to avoid it this long.
Yeah.
I imagine they will continue to avoid it for a very long time.
Yeah, probably.
So anyways, thank you everybody for the questions.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. You can get involved in the action also at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. $20 a month gets your face or text question here on Going In Raw. Till next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.